Okay. That loaded up for you. Platinum League game on Polar Night with MauiSpartan only being gold, at least on this server, but you can always play in a league higher than yours, just can't play in a league lower. Anyway, I'll just switch the scene now. You'll get to watch the wonders of the loading screen with me for a minute, and then we'll be in the game. One of these days I'm going to actually get some map intros in there. I may ask my friends over at Base Trade TV if I can get some map intros and borrow theirs. For those of you who aren't aware, who aren't familiar with Base Trade TV, they're a pretty awesome community casting squad doing a number of pro-level games and series, and even hosting their own pro-level games series and tournaments on occasion. I do tech help with them, and I happen to work in the IT industry as a professional when I'm not playing around and casting StarCraft. So here we are in the game. Spawning in our north spawn location, we have as an orange Terran MauiSpartan for eSports. And spawning in the southern location, we have RandAlThor as our purple Zerg for Guns and Roaches. As I said, I actually was able to cast RandAlThor versus Heat, which is actually RandAlThor's next game after this. It's live just yesterday. It was a very exciting game. I highly suggest you go watch it. Not going to spoil any more about it than that, other than the fact that it taught me that RandAlThor really likes the speedlings. So we have overlords heading across the map to scout. No scout coming out yet for MauiSpartan, just concentrating on getting up his production, but he's looks like he's going to go for that early Reaper and use that as his early scouting, which is very often an extremely good choice for Terrans. There's a reason that almost all the pros go that way. Looks like RandAlThor is going to go hatch first. Pretty interesting Overlord pathing, sending the Overlord over to this side, and then of course he's going to hang it over this way. That's actually a really cool Overlord pathing, because if there are Marines early on, they're almost always going to be over here, you know, by where the barracks is built to make the wall off against a Zerg. So it actually allows him to get a little more scouting info of things like gas timings than he might otherwise get. Meantime, we see the SCV heading down here. Not sure if he's out there to scout or to start building. Looks like he's actually sending the SCV out to scout for the moment. Interesting, the SCV going in front of the Reaper, which probably means we're going to see a bit of a bunker rush going down. Now the SCV is seen by this Overlord. Not sure if RandAlThor knows what's going to go on with this. Looks like the SCV might just scout. Might have decided against that bunker rush I was thinking we'd see. Yep, the SCV just kind of scouting a little ahead for the Reaper, I guess. Perhaps also trying to distract those Lings, which he does very well. Allowing the Reaper to get more hits on drones and such as the Lings go to chase the SCV. Kind of cute sacrificing one SCV to try to get a few drone kills, but it looks like he's only got one drone kill before the Reaper has to run away from the Queen. In the meantime, we have an Overlord being rallied way down there, I guess, against to be sure his Overlords are safe, and these Lings catch and clean up that Reaper, not being microed to run off, so. So the Lings are going to now head across the map, try to get some scouting done. In the meantime, we see a factory, a second command center, reactor going onto those barracks. Not sure if he's actually going to use the reactor to make more Marines or if he's going to go into reactor Hellion play. We'll figure out pretty soon, and likely so will RandAlThor with those Zerglings coming up to scout. Does see it, there's no second base. He's one of the Lings to look for that second base time. The second Ling comes up and it's taken out at the wall, but does see what's happening, and we are going to see reactor Hellion come out. So we're going to see lots of Hellions. Always good for harass early on. In the meantime, we see speed is almost finished for RandAlThor, as well as a Baneling nest, and, well, lots of Lings. But you're not seeing any more drones come out of him, just lots and lots of Lings. Keeping that second base at 7 drones. And sending across a ton of Lings. We're going to find a few Hellions in the middle of the map. One Ling that's holding the watchtower goes down as the rest of them start to duel with these Hellions trying to get us around. Chase these Hellions all the way back into the base and find 2 more Hellions and 2 more Marines. But there just aren't enough Lings to get a good surround. Losing a number of Lings for only 1 Marine. And that one more Ling that was there to scout the base time and also go down to these Hellions. And what is the response? Lots of Lings and some Banelings for RandAlThor. Much like the other game I cast on him, he likes the Speedlings, man. He's pretty good at using them. I can't blame him too much. He really likes them. And Speedlings, not exactly the best counter to that large number of Hellions. There are just too many Hellions for them to deal with. They did get a few of the Hellions, but it's still a lot of Hellions and not very many Lings left. Banelings actually aren't too bad against Hellions if they can get the group. And the few Hellions were left behind as 3 of them continue to run around and try to fight Lings. One more Hellion going down as the other ones come back, and there's some nice Widow Mine placement. One of the Widow Mines goes off, doesn't get too much done, but does force the Lings back. Behind this, for some reason RandAlThor has built a second Baneling nest. Could not tell you why. However, he does have a 3rd base coming up. Still no teching up to even lair, let alone hive. In the meantime, we see some eBays going down for MauiSpartan, as well as a few more Widow Mines, and setting up for really heavy bio production. 2 reactors going down on the barracks. Starport with the reactor also already up, and his 2nd base is now on location, and in fact he's sailing over his 3rd base already. Now this is going to be scouted. RandAlThor is a Ling hanging out. RandAlThor is really good at getting good map vision. He takes a lot of map control with these Lings he likes so much. He is actually now upgrading to lair tech as well as getting his 1-1. With that 3rd base just about done. So we got a bit of a conflict going down out here. Some Lings run into some Widow Mines. Pretty good Widow Mine hits. And MauiSpartan decides to lift the base for the moment rather than try to land it with all those Lings and nothing to attack them quite in position yet. Lings running in and another great Widow Mine. The Widow Mines have been really quite good so far. As Hellions continuing to do work. Combat shields on the way for MauiSpartan. And an infestation pit most of the way done for RandAlThor. There's the big drone transfer going over to that new base. RandAlThor is up 15 workers at this point. And has a fourth base on the way. And we see Enduring Locust coming down. We might actually see some Swarm Host play. Pretty interesting against Bio, but it can work. Not always the most effective. Looks like we had another few Widow Mines go off with a number of Lings trying to run into that third base, but he is successfully keeping that third base from landing, so it might actually be worth the Lings he keeps losing to Widow Mines. In the meantime, we have a pretty good ball of troops for MauiSpartan, a number of Marines as well as a few Hellions and Widow Mines coming forward to try to take some of that map control. Take down the Ling, holding one of the watchtowers as the rest of the Lings start running home in anticipation of the attack. Looks like he's going to bypass the third for the moment. These Hellions coming out to try to fight these Lings while the rest of his army catches a few Swarm Hosts just after they spawn. That's a really nice catch. Swarm Hosts are a pretty high gas cost unit. And so far things are looking real good for MauiSpartan. Those Widow Mines continuing to do work. As with that heavy Ling Bane use from RandAlThor, Widow Mines are really good against that sort of competition. In the meantime, the Lings clean up the one Marine that was holding the watchtower and Watchtower, so RandAlThor gets his map control back, and MauiSpartan didn't get a whole lot done with that attack except leaving behind these Widow Mines right on top of his base. Didn't really get that many worker kills, so I don't think he got any. Yeah, there's only been one worker kill each, so. And that was the from early harassment. Yes, those Widow Mines actually getting a kill on a Swarm Host that just spawned. Those Widow Mines, man, they're just continuing to do work. And mismicroing those Lings, losing a ton of Lings in another Widow Mine. And Banelings against Widow Mines when you're back home. Not the best micro here. RandAlThor, if you watch this one, you might want to be a little more careful with your micro. Because you definitely don't need to throw Banes against Widow Mines. That's what Lings are for. Anyway. So we have a number of Swarm Hosts all sitting here and probably getting ready to assault this third. The third has now just landed with a ton of mules being sent down. Start mining at it. And in the meantime, looks like MauiSpartan is going to send a drop down the other way just as the first wave of Locust comes in. Which does at least set off the Widow Mines. The Locust being microed to go attack the mules instead of attack the base directly. Probably a smart move. Number of Marines come in to clean up the Locust for the moment, but and in fact these Swarm Hosts are moved back at that. And in the meantime, we see a drop coming down from MauiSpartan, which, oddly enough, having those two Baneling nests might be advantageous. He's about to lose one of his two Baneling nests. And these Marines and Marauders pushing forward, taking down some workers. Lings are here, but the Lings are not enough to deal with this big drop. 3 medevac drop takes out the second Baneling nest as well, and continues to get that Ling. Now the Banelings come in, and most of the Marines are picked up before any real Baneling hits can take place. He lost one medevac worth of troops, but he's still got 2 medevacs worth of troops, and he dropped into the new 4th. And just made a ton of worker kills, and medevacs healing up the troops in the meantime. Not sure why he's burrowing these swarm hosts. Well, actually, yeah, they do have high ground vision, so that was actually a pretty good choice. There's the Locusts now being able to fire down at these Marines, but the Marines have much higher DPS. Marines are going to take this base down. But RandAlThor back to 3 bases as the Banelings show up and the Marines are picked up again. And it looks like we're heading right back into the main. Not sure if that's the best choice, especially when you see those spore crawlers that just morphed in and they say, nope, 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 nope their way right out of there and drop off the troops to heal them up. Not that they really need it. Got a number of lings running across the map. Sorry about that. I had something wasn't going quite right and had to tab out for a minute. But anyway, back to the game. Lings, Banes, and Swarm hosts all being sent over into the middle of the map again here for RandAlThor. In the meantime, we have this little drop crew having found a cache of 3 overlords to take out. RandAlThor sending his overlords apparently where he thought they were safe, and well, they just aren't. There's nothing here to protect them, so loses a number of overlords for free as they were scouting to see if there was a base hiding back here. In the meantime, RandAlThor has decided to take all the bases behind the Swarm Host assault on MauiSpartan's 3rd. And while that's going on, also sending lings up here, but losing most of them to Widowmine shots. Pretty good micro, actually, distracting one of the Widowmines for once. And heading into the natural. As that 3rd base was actually taken down by those Locusts. Locusts not being rallied anywhere for the moment, just spawning. At least giving some protection to the Swarm hosts. In the meantime, looks like he did get a number of worker kills up at this base, but MauiSpartan's actually massive armies to take down the rest of those lings. Looks like RandAlThor may have actually evened things up here. Those Locusts forcing back armies once more and canceling the 3rd base being remade. But yeah, those additional bases for RandAlThor coming up, bringing RandAlThor literally up to 6 bases, 7 bases. Sorry. Now 7 bases. This little dropper ass crew still being annoying down here though. Medevacs full of troops dropping off and taking out an evolution chamber, which isn't being used right now because RandAlThor is not used like a hydra. The lings come in to start cleaning them up, but these are 2-2 Marines, and even though the lings are also 2-2, just lings aren't really very good against it, but those Banes clean up that drop pretty nice. In the meantime, looks like the main army of MauiSpartan is going to knock down this front door, taking down this 4th base. There's MauiSpartan, of RandAlThor. In the meantime, the bio ball is moving forward. The tanks continue to remain sieged at the center of the field. to avoid the Banes. The Banes still get a few hits on the troops that can't fit the medevacs, but most of the rest of the Lings and Banes are getting cleaned up by siege tanks as the remaining troops of MauiSpartan stim forward to start to take down the main base. At this point, 83 army supply to 23. It's looking like it's pretty much done here. All he's got to do is try to clean up all these bases with his vastly superior army. Siege tanks just slowly moving forward and sieging up the bases as the bio crew continues to be fast and active on the map, taking down another Baneling nest. Those great Waron bases. That's what we're talking about. Great Waron. The Banelings rolling in one by one and getting destroyed by this bioforce before they get even close. RandAlThor, those Banelings are his last hope. GG. MauiSpartan takes this one, leaving the score to be 2-1 in favor of Guns and Roaches.